What's good, everyone? Horror comes in many forms when it comes to video games. Whether the scares come from jump scares, foreboding atmospheres, or ghoulish Lovecraftian creatures, of course, we here at DOSR simply adore horror games. At least many of them. Games featured in this video were picked pretty randomly, so there's a mixed bag of good and, well, not so good. And as a favor to you guys, we've made a list of them and ranked them in order from least best to the #1 horror game demo. 6 horror games that have demos that you, that's right, I'm talking to you can download there right now and test them out before you buy them. And as another favor to you guys, that's right, no, I gotcha. We've got another special bonus game at the end of this video as a thank you to you guys for sticking through it. Because what are you guys? That's right, you guys are the best. These game demos are ranked in order from least cool to #1 cool. So without further ado, let's take a look at the 6 horror game demos you can play right now. Ranked. Also, just wanted to say I did notice y'all subscribe to the channel, like, what? But willkommen, and we have another Deepish Dive video next week. It's gonna be good. Dizzy may or may not have a little tantrum over video game censorship. Number 6. Resident Evil 3 Cloud. Resident Evil 3 Cloud was of course released by Capcom in the year 2022. I like Resident Evil. How does it run on the cloud? Well, if your internet connection is one notch less than perfect, there's going to be some movement latency, like an actual 1-second delay after you tilt your joystick before you turn to face a dangerous monster. And then another 1-second delay after you discharge your firearm in the game. It's gonna actually fire, which is perfect. If I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would want to feel like reality was running on a 1995 dial-up connection, complete with lags, skips, delays, and frame rate issues. Nothing better. The demo also gives you a whole 3 minutes to play. 3 minutes. I can't even take a in 3 minutes. So we don't have time to stop and talk to anyone or gather ammo if we want to get any action in during our run. We gotta run as fast as Jill Valentine's legs carrier. Here I am running outside with my time counting down. My ammo goes empty within the first 10 seconds or so I gotta go in with the trusty old knife. Ooh, that's a good bite! And it's over. I really can't have too much fun in 3 minutes, Capcom K. I'm not always a fan of the cloud games, so the Resident Evil 3 Cloud demo, it's gots to go. Dead last on this list. 5. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Cloud. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Cloud, also released by Capcom in 2022. Hopefully we get a little more time to engage with the game in this one. 3 minutes? Oh, come on! At least this one gives you a good bunch of enemies to pelt all your ammo into right where you are to start off with, unlike Resident Evil 3, which puts you on the train with Carlos to chat away your 3 minutes of gameplay.
Hey, Gio, what's good?
I feel like this game's been out a while. The demo was short. Let's just move on, you guys, onto a game that actually gives you a proper game demo to play. 4. Horror Stories. Horror Stories was released by Random Spin Games in 2022, and I know, I put this Atari-looking game above the other Resident Evil games, but at least Horror Stories gives you as much time as you want to test out their demo. And for me, that probably wasn't too much longer than 3 minutes anyway. Move around the house in your attempt to escape the chainsaw-wielding maniac. You can get the wrench to take over to the sink, which you'd use to bust the faucet to spray the killer in the face, I would surmise, but I actually could never get it to do that. Kind of feels like the Leatherface looking guy just drifts aimlessly. It's hypnotic for like a second, but then I remember I'm not a fan of Atari games, and the game really is painfully simple. But I gotta give it to Random Spin Games as there is credit due. They actually outdid both Resident Evil games on this list for the video. It's simple, but at least the developers have big enough julies to give us the game a long enough go to actually get a feel for it. Know what I mean, Capcom? 3. Riddled Corpses EX. I actually enjoyed myself so much playing on French studio Cowcat's 2019 title,
The best animal is the cow cat.
which is a seemingly simple isometric shooter, but you can level up your character, get different spreads on your blasting device, and there's quite a few environmental things which you can interact with, like focusing your firepower to explode a vehicle, which lights up all them zombies in a blaze of burning, frenzied, undead flesh. I didn't think I would enjoy this as much as I did for some reason, but the demo for Riddled Corpses EX really did some things right. Everyone knows I love that good old isometric viewpoint from the good old days, and also blasting on some gruesome zombies. It's a fun... I'm not saying that.
Shoot.
Since I'm now a fan of the Cowcat, I also put together this Xenon Valkyrie Plus game. It's like a kind of dig-dug dungeon game, but I really do dig Riddled Corpses EX, so if you want to give it a go, the demo is on the Switch store. 2. Yomawari Lost in the Dark. Another isometric horror game, which I am absolutely fine with. Is it NIS America? Yeah, they made it 2022. This one has monsters and ghosts from Japanese folklore inside of an otherwise abandoned school where your team has decided to investigate. You'll need to use your flashlight, sneak past really crazy monsters and ghosts, and solve the mysteries of the school. There's some cheap jump scares in the giant floating face thing, but the ghoulish atmosphere and the rich plot line full of Japanese folklore, plenty of pixelated blood, and some slow burn dread, which I feel is a huge win for an isometric retro-style horror game to accomplish. 1. Detention. Coming at you from the island country of Taiwan, Red Candle Games released this gem back in 2018. Really seeps in slowly with the ghoulishness as you witness a river of blood underneath the bridge to the town, which is now broken, leaving you stranded in an abandoned school. Kinda like in the last game. Should I walk past this ghoul? I'm not supposed to. Actually, you do have a defense against these fiends, and that defense is holding your breath. At first I didn't understand this, but the game gives us the skinny on some Taiwanese folklore. These ghoulish dudes are called the Lingered, and holding your breath at the right time ensures they can't get ya. Logically speaking, I'd do the same thing. That Lingered ghost looks like he hasn't showered in a while. Detention has a wonderful woodcut art style, which adds to the smoothness and psychedelic folk horror going on in the game. Controls seem really smooth, and the integration of the puzzles and enemies is seamless in the demo alone, so I decided I'ma cough up the 14 bones and get Detention. It's a shorter game, but the good folks over at Taiwanese indie studio Red Candle Games should be proud of this accomplishment. It's received critical acclaim, and the studio's been busy with newer projects as well, so keep an eye out on what they've got going on. And here we go is your bonus game, you guys. This one is called My Big Sister. I was going to hold off on this one because I bought the full game, and I'm going to do a full video on it probably, at least on the indie studio that created the game. But this one was published by Ratalaika for the Switch, and it was made by the one-man Australian development team Stranga. Big Sister is an awesome retro-style horror game, and Stranga does all the music, coding, writing, etc. I'm actually really deeply impressed. Big Sister plays like a really smooth Game Boy Color RPG, but it's really violent, spooky, and ghoulish, and damn it, it's cute. In this one, you'll unravel the disturbing plot by playing as Luzia. You have a nightmare where we learn Luzia sees her big sister, who's now a ghost. By playing the game, we'll unravel a plot involving a demonic, parasitic, ghost-like creature residing in a bathhouse somewhere on the outskirts of town. Another isometric game which accomplishes the ghoulish scares and tense horror atmosphere. I bought this one, and also Red Bow, the other Stranga title available on the Nintendo Switch. Thanks for watching. Do you own any of the full versions of these game demos? Are there any you're curious about giving a go? Let me know down there in the comments. We got a good one for you next week. Remember. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm the dizzy one, and you guys, Puff, you guys are the best. Later.